Researchers achieving high-quality results and breakthrough discoveries through techniques such as microspectroscopy, Raman, LIS, or fluorescence spectroscopy down to single photon. Below the presentation window. Due to the large number of participants, we may be unable to answer your questions live. You can enlarge the slide window at any time by clicking on the Enlarge Slide button located below the presentation window. The slides will advance automatically throughout the event. If you're experiencing technical problems with viewing or hearing this product, please click on the Help button below the presentation window. I'm Dave Walsh, Editor-in-Chief of Spectroscopy and your moderator for today's event. We're very pleased and honored to be joined today by Matthew Beaudelet. Matthew received the BS in Physics from the University of Lille, France in 2003 and began his work in spectroscopy with Fourier transform microwave spectroscopy. In 2005, he received the MS in laser and spectroscopy from the University of Lyon, France, working on theoretical quantum optics. Then, in the laboratory de spectrometry, ionique, and molecular in Lantine, Lyon, he completed his PhD in laser-induced plasma and spectroscopic analysis under the direction of Professor Jing Yu, showing the advantages of LIS for biological sensing and food monitoring. He has written for many publications on the use of fast-effective pulses to improve this technique and the development of analytical techniques to understand and extract the maximum information from the LIS spectrum of bacteria. He's now continuing his research on laser spectroscopy and sensing as a senior research scientist for the Towns Laser Institute at the University of Central Florida, Orlando. This panel covers the fundamentals of laser-induced plasmas and the application of laser spectroscopy such as LIS, Raman, and FTIR as fundamental diagnostics as well as sensing techniques for defense and environmental applications and the study of propagation of ultra-short laser pulses for sensing purposes at distances up to a kilometer range. Thanks for joining us today, Matthew.
Hi, thanks, Dave, for this introduction. Thank you for taking this opportunity to present this study on the basic principle of this. And so first, I want to thank the audience, and I want to be sure that people understand the real meaning of the real goal of this presentation. On this slide, and I intend to take over what it says. It's trying to make the difference between this and the physical aspect of it. So this is a pretty analytical technique, so you can have this idea if you have very instrument itself, or just want to see the process if you want to understand more. And this instrument is just here to give you data, and then you analyze those data, and then you go in your decision process. Even if you open these box, then you see that you have different components, and those components, for sure, you can see the name of this is you get the laser to reduce this plasma from the sample. Then you get this plasma emission, and this emission will be analyzed and provide you the data for the rest of the process. And on this seminar, I want to focus on the basic principles, so I won't go on very technical aspects, but mainly on the phenomenon itself, is the reduced plasma or the breakdown, and how to use this phenomenon to obtain information from the sample. So as you can see on this slide, I will focus on how you can get plasma from any sample, and what is the kind of emission you expect from such a plasma. And why going back to the statement is because it's very unique in the sense that you can create very optimized tools to address the problem. And the only way as any analytical technique is to understand the basics if you want to apply it very efficiently. So first, a very short overview. I didn't want to go towards the 50 years or kind of this. But I wanted to show the very beginning of it. And so we can go back to 1860, I would say, and then you get the paper by Kirchhoff and Weston, and showing the use of this virtual frame for analytical purposes, and even some elements of it very well. Intense studies with this frame. And then 50 years ago, and this is a nice anniversary this year. spectroscopy in the U.S. And then a year after, there was this very nice paper by Mrs. Dubowski and Jodek, who presented a kind of an overview of several samples. And next to this study, we can see that there are some very nice opportunities that they already saw at this time. And I think I want to talk about this first paper by Archibald at the Timers office. And you can see the on the right is short time result spectrum of the laser plasma. And that shows that we have this continuum at the very beginning, and that was kind of the notion of why time resolution is very important in this. And I think those three papers were the very beginning, because they were addressed, they were addressing the basics, and they were addressing the technical difficulties that you have to deal with in this. Always the community, always now you have more than 50 countries doing research in this. You can see that here on this map. Every continent has its lab, I would say, and analyzing many different samples having different purposes. And there was this community addresses either research on the modeling part, on the development part. And the development part is very intense when you go towards the industry. And here is just an overview of some companies, mainly based here in the U.S., some European ones, doing either very compact systems for application in the field, or having conventional systems, very specialized. Like you have here from laser who's doing an analysis of drugs, for example. You have other, you still have some companies who just deal with the analysis of the data, because this is storage, as many of you know, this as a cancer technique, has a very rich spectrum when you analyze the data, and also your sample. And so you need to have a nice understanding of what is the spectration of a very efficient analysis. So even some companies are specialized in this field. And just 2 weeks ago, there was this international conference in Memphis, Tennessee, in the USA, showing that this community is very in a very intense activity. And so we can see across the Atlantic on the both sides of the European community, and we have their own conference every 2 years at the same time the North American community is. And so I put some dates for some people who would be interested here. Like the sixth one would be 13 for the heaven, and the next is South America would be Florida, and the next international one would be in Cairo, Egypt, for the International List Conference. But so this community has a lot of publications as well, and it's been kind of exponential over the years. And but I want to mention quickly where, if you're really interested in understanding basics and applications of this, and follow up what is the state of the art in research. There are 4 monographs, 4 books of this. So there is a very intense community to write those books, and really appreciate those people who can talk to, and they have a very nice overview of the techniques. Then the main journals where you can find the state of your research, and mainly it's applied spectroscopy, for example, Spectral Data Act. JAS has more and more this paper, and we know what's the level of quality in JAS, and it's pretty nice to see that this needs to be recognized for the quality of this work. And Applied Optics is also a very nice journal where you can find all the research activities. This is not by itself a community, it's very related to other communities, and there are several. There are the very fundamental ones like the laser material processing. So laser material processing, why? Because as we said, it's just you need to extract the matter with the laser, and so you want to optimize this. So the laser material processing field is the expert for laser relation, laser material coupling, laser material interaction, and we learn a lot from them. there is also what I call the plasma-based spectroscopy field that would be all these very well established techniques like ICT, AS, GEOS, and even a lot of applications that work even on frames and sparks spectroscopy. And those techniques are really important for this because this is the same kind of temperatures, the same kind of electron density for your plasma, so you learn a lot from them. Then on the equipment side, we work a lot with the laser development field because, as we said, you want to optimize your laser source to address the right question. So you also want to have compact sources. You want to have adapted pulse duration. You can go from nanosecond to femtosecond usually. And so you need to work in parallel with the laser development teams. This for spectroscopy, so you need a spectrometer for sure, and it is so broad. Application, you can have a nice instrument from the formulae to the IR, and so for this you need to have adapted spectrometers and telemetry to provide this instrument. For the detectors, as you'll see later on, you really need to have detectors that can catch this pulse even, and this pulse even can last like a few microseconds. So you need to have fast enough detectors to have an optimized detection. So usually companies, you can work with companies directly working with chips or the electronics. And then we have the ACC and then the CMOS technology, something that's going on and growing. There was a nice talk at this conference showing the advance of the CMOS technology. Then, as I was telling you, some companies are working on this data analysis, so we learn a lot from the chemists themselves for their geometric analysis, the pattern recognition, all these techniques that sometimes are not used in other fields like in ICT or in GE, but here we use all this information and all those fields. We try to have them around us to develop the best technique. So then, why going back to basics again? And then I start this seminar. Because there are several steps in the LIT event. When I say LIT event is you bring the laser, you extract, you excite the matter, you let it relax, you have a spectrum, and then you have the information. But you have many processes you need to understand, and you need to control if you want to optimize your analysis. So laser absorption, for example, for the sampling, plasma formation for the excitation, plasma cooling, and emission to optimize the detection. And the thing is really a great help for going to DC as well. It can sometimes be the only option. So now let's go on some more fundamental science and explain the first step. That is, I bring my laser on the sample, this laser pulse, and I extract a sample, a bit of it, and I excite it at the same time. So I do a laser evaporation and the plasma formation. Here is just an overview of what would be a linear laser absorption of three different kinds of materials. So I put this equation that is the temperature diffusion in a material, and it's very well-known equation. You can find it in many laser material interaction books. And you can see that on the first term on the right side of the equation, which is the diffusion equation, the diffusion term. But then on the right, you will have the source term. This source, you can see there is the absorption term, alpha, and there is the reflection term, R. And those two terms are really important because it really shows the conflict between your laser pulse and the material. And here are some examples, like for a metal, you can see that you will have for low wavelength, so high frequencies, you will have very nice absorption, low absorption and low reflection. So the thing is, you would want to optimize the absorption and lower the reflection. So you have to find this small range if you want to optimize your interaction. Then if you go to some metals, you need to have an absorption dense, and here is just an example. If you have a band gap around this omega, and then you can see that you begin to have some features in this absorption spectrum. And then you can go to a very complicated case. Like here's the tissue interaction and tissue absorption coefficient. knowing of these kind of spectra, you want to detect specific elements, for example, in this, then you can address specifically one assumption that you know will help you to have the best signal and the best analysis. So the wavelength optimization is a very important parameter in your analysis. Then interaction all over the work. Here I just showed the linear one, but the nonlinear absorption happens if you have lasers in the sub-deconfigured regime. Why? Because the sub-deconfigured regime needs to have no equilibrium between the electrons you have in your material and the lattice or the matrix of your material. And because of this, you need to create nonlinear processes in your sampling, and you can go even shorter and have a 10 close again. And then in this case, you even have no equilibrium between the electrons themselves. So you have different processes. You don't play only with the wavelength, but you can play with the pulse duration to optimize the process you want to have. And you can even go with the intensity just to reach the nonlinear processes. And the nonlinear processes would be, you can modify the electronic characteristics of the material to optimize this extraction and this sampling. You can generate more free barriers by multiple absorption, impermeabilization sometimes, and you can even create lower damages and have still a nice intense plasma. Then, once you have this interaction between the laser and your extraction of the matter, then you want to have this evaporation. What you want to do is you want to create a vapor, and this vapor would be very important to go towards the plasma. So I'm sorry for these equations. It will be mixed later on. And so the idea you can go on the left figure, and the idea is when you see this phase diagrams, you want to go from a solid to a vapor. So you need to reach first the liquid phase, and then you need to go to the vapor phase. So if we are thinking in linear absorption, then you want to go from a set of parameters like the pressure, the density, and the temperature of the solid. Then you bring this source for the laser. You pass the boundary between the solid and the liquid, for example, and then you have the melting of your material. And then you pass, again, you still bring a lot of temperature, a lot of energy via your laser. And so you have evaporation of the material when you cross the liquid vapor phase. So all those processes have to be understood, and you can optimize the evaporation of your material for a better signal. So then, once you have the evaporation, what you want to do is not only have a vapor, because your vapor could be a simple gas, and then you will have quite a signal from the constituent of this gas. So what you want to do is form a plasma. And this plasma formation is one of the big steps, because here you need to have a lot of electrons that will ionize your matter by cascade ionization. And so the first electrons you have then with the laser just grab them from the surface. So you have the work function that gives you the source signal of ionic emission. And you even have evaporation during the melting of your material. You have the electrons can be ejected from some dust particles, some aggregates, or some droplets in your plasma. So all those electrons will be of importance, and this is the main thing in your plasma. And sometimes, and very usually I would say, everybody has a nanosecond laser. I would say in a lab, it's easier to get a nanosecond laser and a femtosecond laser. And then this time scale, the nanosecond is longer than the plasma creation time. And so the laser brings energy to those photons and to this evaporated matter. So you can have critical ionization with this high intensity, this high electronic density. You have lowering of the ionization potential of your atoms and your ions. So you can increase direct ionization as well. So once you have this plasma formation, then you have this equilibrium between ions and electrons. And this equilibrium is governed by the psi equation, and this is the rate. This is the rate constant of this equation. So you have an atom or an ion, and you go to the next stage, the issue of ionization, and you deliver an electron. and you can go back with your coordination. And it's usually it will go so far in the ionization stage, so you have singly ionized neutrals, and because the temperature won't be higher than 2 to 3 ED, but ED is something less than 35,000 Kelvin. And so the plasma formation is the key, and it is the very beginning of your event. Then, as I was just telling you, you can have the laser itself, usually the tail of your laser, so the front of your laser takes and extracting the matter and creating the plasma. And then the tail of your laser can still go in the plasma, and then you can have what is called the inverse Bragg stratum. That is, you accelerate your electrons, because they're already free in the plasma, so you accelerate them with the radiation of your laser pulse. And so that can happen because you have acceleration around neutrals and ions. So these two kind of equations here that you see is really dependent on what kind of radiation is your laser. So you can see on the first term of each equation, when you have this equilibrium, like the blank equilibrium, you're extracting from this equilibrium. And so from this, you have the laser optimization to drive your electron. And then on the next part of the equation, you can see it's very dependent of the density of your atoms. And then goes back to the optimization of the extraction if you just put into the beginning. So here I kind of have a review of how you would, very simple review on how you would create the plasma from a certain target. And now once you have this plasma, then it will expand in the background gas around and reach, so with the different processes you have, can reach some kind of equilibrium. And this is a very important notion when you have the event. So first expansion, it's a very, you have a gas, so you have a vapor, it's ionized, but anyway, what you have is the hydrodynamic of the fluid, so you have the mass conservation, you have the momentum conservation, and you have the energy conservation. So the energy conservation, you have the normal pairs that you see here that is gas by itself, but you have those two terms at the end of the third equation. The first one is the laser heating by the infrastructure file, as I was just telling you in the slide before. And you also have the losses, so you have recombination of your electrons, and you have the Bragg stratum emission. So all those processes that lead to these radiated losses are 80 over 30 electrons. So you have this electron density around your matter, and this will lead you to LSD collisions. So this won't help so much to get like DGs to get you a signal, but you can get inelastic collision. So by collision of an ion with an electron, you will fly go on a exciting state. Then you can have ionization itself that can help to have higher states of ionization, and so more signal later on by relaxation. And if you have some radicals, for example, here an example is the radical AD, you can have dissociative attachment that gives you creation of some liquid lines for a short time, and you can even have dissociation of this equilibrium of dissociation between electrons and those radicals. And those electronic processes are also occurring at the same time with some collisions with atoms and molecules together. And so same thing, you can have elastic collisions, you can have inelastic collisions. And so as we were saying, it's just you need to have this exciting state if you want to have radiation from your plasma. You can have ionization, and you can also have associative ionization, and some other processes that are very important to transfer. So you can excite one with another. That can be used to in some configuration to excite the specific species in the plasma. You can have radical formation. So with everybody here, you can create this radicals in AD and chemical reactions themselves. All those processes and those collisions are very important. And I want to focus on the collision term, because that leads to the important notion of equilibrium. And the plasma equilibrium here is, we're assuming one side, but I will spend a bit of time on it. If you have equilibrium, what do you have? It's just you want the equilibrium of the kinetic energy of your species. You have different species. You have the electrons, you have the ions, you have neutrals, you have radicals, molecules, and all of them, if you want an equilibrium, you want them to have a maximum distribution of their velocities. So this is one kind of equilibrium that is important. Another equilibrium is the internal energy distribution on one atom or one ion. So the one on distribution of the Boltzmann distribution, just the distribution of your electrons at your energy level. And this will help you to really have an analytical solution for knowing the composition of your plasma. Then you can have a chemical equilibrium. So I put here a very broad equation that A plus B reduces AB. So that can work for ionization as we know with the equilibrium. So an ion A plus D would be electrons. And so you can go back to the neutral. You can have dissociation and particle formation. So this is another important part of the plasma processes because those radicals and atomic radicals can be later on to some agglomeration and some aggregates in your plasma or in your cell. But then there is also the fourth one, that is the radiation equilibrium. And this radiation equilibrium would be a problem. And you can understand it if you have a black body radiation, black body, you have no radiation going out because every photon emitted would be absorbed at the same time in this body. So what you want is you want to have a lot more processes for the ejection of those photons out of your plasma. You want emission more than you want absorption. And this is exactly what we want. We want everything governed by collisions. So that's as much as possible. So we want energies, equilibrium by collisions. We want internal energies, equilibrium by collisions. We want chemical reactions by collision. And then we just want the photons to go out of this plasma and give us the diagnostics of the matter inside. And this is a very large notion that you can read a lot of its literature, the local thermodynamic equilibrium. Since you don't have the black body equilibrium, so the radiation equilibrium, you cannot have the thermodynamic equilibrium, but you can have it local, you can have it local, that is, that large stadium plasma, if you can divide it in different cells, can be in thermodynamic equilibrium. And this means you have three steps to know if you have a local thermodynamic equilibrium. You have to have domination of the relational processes over the radiation processes. You need to have the different relational processes to be in equilibrium one with another. So that is, you want to have all the same temperatures. And then you want to have the diffusion and the relaxation shorter than the fluctuations of temperature and electrointensity. That is, you want to look at time scales where you can consider your equilibrium and it's not only a transient phenomenon. Why all this discussion of local thermodynamic equilibrium is because, as you saw in the slide before, you can address them with analytical solution. You have the macro solution, you have the SAR solution, and the Boltzmann solution, and all these solutions, you can use them to improve the signal you have from the lips, to go back to quantification of the constituents of your plasma. And this is the key for a nice analysis of lips. So now we have all these notions that we went through. The extraction, so the sampling, we went to the excitation, and we went to the equilibrium of your plasma. Now you want it to emit, and you want it to cool down. So this is the next section, and this will be the last part of these processes. So it's, as we're saying, it's just that it's dynamic emission because it's a pulse event, and it's not like you have in, for example, ICP or where you have the torch that can run for a very long time. Now here you have processes that can last just for microseconds or milliseconds. And so when you have the laser pulse that comes in the nanosecond time scale, then you have a very large continuum at the very beginning. This continuum we'll talk about it just after. Then you have recombination, and so your electrons to ions. Then the ions taking up neutrals by recombination, and then the neutrals will be separated by radical formation and association. So that is KNF stimuli to a detection that can be treated at least triggered with something that around after nanosecond here, because you want to be able to address the right thing here in your event.